Start. A dying declaration made to a police officer is admissible in evidence. However, the practice of dying declaration being recorded by investigating officer has been discouraged, and this court has urged the investigating officers availing the services of magistrate for recording dying declaration if it was possible to do so, and the only exception is when the deceased was in such a precarious condition that there was no other alternative left except the statement being recorded by the investigating officer or the police officer later on relied on as a dying declaration. In Munnu Raja and another versus the state of Madhya Pradesh, AIR 1976 SC 2199, this court observed investigating officers are naturally interested in the success of the investigation, and the practice of the investigating officer himself recorded a dying declaration during the course of an investigation ought not to be encouraged. The dying declaration recorded by the investigating officer in the presence of the doctor and some of the friends and relations of the deceased was excluded from consideration as failure to requisition the services of a magistrate for recording the dying declaration was not explained. In Dilip Singh versus State of Punjab, AIR 1979 SC 1173, this court has permitted dying declaration recorded by the investigating officer being admitted in evidence and considered on proof that better and more reliable methods of recording dying declaration of injured person were not feasible for want of time or facility available. It was held that a dying declaration in a murder case, though, could not be rejected on the ground that it was recorded by a police officer, as the deceased was in a critical condition and no other person could be available in the village to record his dying declaration, yet the dying declaration was left out of consideration as it contained a statement which was a bit doubtful. The juristic theory regarding acceptability of a dying declaration is that such declaration is made and extremely when the party is at the point of death and when every hope of this world is gone, when every motive to falsehood is silenced, and the man is induced by the most powerful consideration to speak only the truth. Notwithstanding, the same great caution must be exercised in considering the weight to be given to this species of evidence on account of the existence many circumstances which may affect their truth. The situation in which a man is on death bed is a solemn and serene is the reason in law to accept the veracity of his statement. It is for this reason the requirements of oath and cross-examination are dispensed with. Since the accused has no power of cross-examination, the court insists that the dying declaration should be of such a nature as to inspire full confidence of the court in its truthfulness or correctness. The court, however, has to always be on guard to see that the statement of the deceased was not as a result of either tutoring or prompting or a product of imagination. The court also must further decide that the deceased was in a fit state of mind and had the opportunity to observe and identify the assailant. Normally, therefore, the court, in order to satisfy whether the deceased was in a fit mental condition to make the dying declaration, look up to the medical opinion. But where the eyewitnesses state that the deceased was in a fit and conscious state to make the declaration, the medical opinion will not prevail, nor can it be said that since there is no certification of the doctor as to the fitness of the mind of the declarant, the dying declaration is not acceptable. A dying declaration can be oral or in writing, and in any adequate method of communication, whether by words or by signs or otherwise, will suffice, provided the indication is positive and definite. In most cases, however, such statements are made orally before death ensures and is reduced to writing by someone like a magistrate or a doctor or a police officer. When it is recorded, no oath is necessary, nor is the presence of a magistrate is absolutely necessary. Although to assure authenticity, it is usual to call a magistrate if available for recording the statement of a man about to die. There is no requirement of law that a dying declaration must necessarily be made to a magistrate, and when such statement is recorded by a magistrate, there is no specified statutory form for such recording. Consequently, what evidential value or weight has to be attached to such statement necessarily depends on the facts and circumstances of each particular case. What is essentially required is that the person who records a dying declaration must be satisfied that the deceased was in a fit state of mind. Where it is proved by the testimony of the magistrate that the declarant was fit to make the statement even without examination by the doctor, the declaration can be acted upon provided the court ultimately holds the same to be voluntary and truthful. A certification by the doctor is essentially a rule of caution, and therefore the voluntary and truthful nature of the declaration can be established otherwise. The court also in the aforesaid case relied upon the decision of this court in Harjeet Kaur versus State of Punjab 1999 SCC 545 case, wherein the magistrate in his evidence had stated that he had ascertained from the doctor whether she was in a fit condition to make a statement and obtained an endorsement to that effect, and merely because an endorsement was made not on the declaration but on the application would not render the dying declaration suspicious in any manner. For the reasons already indicated earlier, we have no hesitation coming to the conclusion that the observation of this court to the effect that in the absence of a medical certification that the injured was in a fit state of mind at the time of making the declaration, it would be very much risky to accept the subjective satisfaction of a magistrate who opined that the injured was in a fit state of mind at the time of making a declaration has been too broadly stated and is not the correct enunciation of law. It is indeed a hyper-technical view that the certification of the doctor was to the effect that the patient is conscious, and there was no certification that the patient was in a fit state of mind, especially when the magistrate categorically stated in his evidence, indicating the questions he had put to the patient, and from the answers elicited was satisfied that the patient was in a fit state of mind, where after he recorded the dying